Well, I want to talk to you about two of my favorite cities when it comes to staying there for a bit, potentially maybe setting up a base, or maybe just travel there for fun. So right now I am in Kuala Lumpur, and quite frequently I am passing through Dubai. I think both cities, in many ways, you can call them misunderstood. You can call them perhaps underrated, depends why you want to go there. And here on the channel I talk about building a life of freedom around the world. So these two cities for me have been very interesting. Today I want to compare the two. On the one side, of course, when it comes to just traveling there, having a good time. On the other side, potentially setting up a base there, staying there for a while, be it renting an apartment, but even more so living there for a couple of months. So I want to talk to you about the cost of travel, cost of living, second of all, the lifestyle, the community on the ground, just generally opportunities when it comes to coming to these two cities. And Kuala Lumpur, I've been here now for 5 weeks, so I want to take you on a little bit of a stroll today and have this conversation, because I believe both cities in its own way are up and coming. They're becoming more and more popular. Dubai, since the lockdown times, really exploded in popularity, and I think it's getting more and more interesting, especially from a perspective of community, the type of people that go there, the type of people that you can find there. Kuala Lumpur is extremely underrated, and the value that you can get here is truly out of this world in many ways. And before we continue with the two topics, another thing about international living, moving around the world, living remotely, a thing that's going to change your life in general is being able to speak multiple languages. So I personally speak 3 languages fluent, a couple ones, let's say I know some good and bad words, but look, this is where today's sponsor comes in. Babbel, one of the largest language learning apps in the world. With Babbel, you can learn a new language through real-life conversations. So they offer you the chance to learn over, I think, exactly 14 different languages, German, Polish, and me personally, I keep going back to Bali. So Indonesia, they speak the local language of Bahasa Indonesia. I wanted to brush it up a little bit, get the basics. So you get the app, you choose how much time you want to invest in it, and you get going right away. So in the beginning, I did some more simpler lessons.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. And then I moved on to also a little bit more advanced things, so you really learn real life conversations.
Saya orang Jerman.
Saya orang Jerman.
Anda orang Inggris.
Anda orang Inggris. It's things that you can really use day to day. So be it for travel, for business, or I don't know, chatting up a cute girl in the local language, Babbel got your back. So check out in the description right now. I will leave a link for you to get 60% off a Babbel membership. And with that, let me know which languages do you speak. So I'm sure English. What else? Let me know down below. And with that out of the way, let's get back into today's topic. Get this video going. It's a Sunday afternoon here in Kuala Lumpur. First of all, why am I making this video? You see, I would say both cities have the similarity of being a hub. If you're traveling anywhere in Southeast Asia, you likely will be passing through Kuala Lumpur. Some of the cheapest flights are going out of here, no matter the airline. It's a huge hub. Dubai, with their, let's say, flagship airline Emirates, it's the most frequent in the airport in the world, from as far as I know. At least it has been recently at some point. And so no matter what, at some point you're probably going to be passing through Dubai. And I think in many ways both cities are somewhat perhaps misunderstood, perhaps underappreciated, in the sense that most people just pass through and it's like, oh, Dubai, what is there to do other than big buildings, blah blah blah. Many people feel similar about Kuala Lumpur, and I have to tell you one thing. In terms of, let's say, big city life, in terms of having it as a base in between of going different places, I think both cities can be very exciting. But there is, let's say, let me first share with you my experience of being in both cities. So Dubai, I've been probably like 3 times properly, many times passing through, and my experience have been that if you're in the downtown, it's, super modern. You have the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. You have the biggest mall in the world. a lot of, let's say, biggest, tallest in the world type of things. That is what Dubai is all about in many ways. And it is very impressive, it is very nice, it is very polished, and many people like to criticize it in the sense like, oh, that's all there is, it's just like money, wealth, da 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 da. Well, why is that there's all there is? I would say that is certainly there. On the other hand, you have a much more walkable, perhaps you could call it beach location with Dubai Marina, which in itself is a fairly large district, and you can take the subway to go, for example, from the downtown to the marina, or of course take a taxi. Taxis are actually not that crazy expensive. The public transport is actually very, very affordable around that area. And so that is a little bit Dubai for me. The other thing that most people don't even know about is the district of Dubai that is, let's call it more local, more back to the roots of what Dubai used to be. Creek Harbor, what is it called, Deira. And that area, actually, if you feel adventurous, if you want to explore a little bit, if you want to feel culture, many people like to travel to whatever it may be, you know, India, Nepal, to just see a little bit a different world. You can do that by going to Deira, because a lot of people that work in Dubai, they live in Deira, and while, let's say like that, the value, not the value, even the experience you can get there, you can get a lot of super cool local food, you can go to a lot of local markets, you can also just escape a little bit from the super modern part of Dubai and experience that. So that to me personally really changed my opinion on Dubai, saying like, oh, it has no whatever, no its own character. I think it's really actually there, and I think they are also making Dubai much more livable. They set out the plan to kind of like make it one of the most livable cities in the world, and I'm excited where they're gonna take it. I definitely respect the vision. I think all of that is interesting. Where I do definitely see the criticism in the sense of it's easy to let it become very expensive. And of course, it's, let's say, an economy that is inviting people from all over the world to make money there. So it's a very, like most big cities, very money oriented, very business oriented. I would say that is definitely the case, and that has its pros and cons. So let's talk about Malaysia. Here we are in front of the Petronas Towers. Kuala Lumpur is similar to the sense, once again, you're probably gonna be passing through. It's similar to the sense that many districts here, KLCC, a fairly large district, super modern. You have all major modern conveniences, from nice hotels. I think in the background somewhere is a Traders Hotel. Here you have the humongous Four Seasons Hotel. Let's say it like that. Malls, movie theaters, gyms. It's, let's say, a modern paradise in the sense of convenience, having a nice condo here for a week, for two. But let's address a little bit the elephant in the room, which is the cost. That is where, if you just want to pass through for a couple of weeks or for a month, you can find a lot what Dubai would offer in terms of fast Wi-Fi, nice connectivity, certain maybe even perhaps entrepreneurial community at a fraction of the price. Oh, look at that, there's a rainbow. So we bumped into a nice little rainbow here. And so Kuala Lumpur, personally, I think first time I came here around 2018, just on a little layover, just look a little bit at the towers, walk around, don't really understand the city, kind of like how it's structured. There's like really different neighborhoods here, and leave. And I would say similar experience like many people have when they come to Dubai. You just kind of like don't really understand the city, so you just see one flashy part, one part that maybe doesn't look that like new or that great, and then you leave. Came again to Kuala Lumpur, and then again, and then stayed in a couple of different areas, found like very, very walkable districts, started to really enjoy it. So yeah, I would say that in many ways summarizes a little bit the culture on the ground, both from an expat perspective, also locally. So basically in Dubai, the UAE, the local population is fairly small. So with that, it's a very, very international state. And if you want, you're not gonna feel the local culture too much. Whereas still, it's actually fairly interesting. Like, so yeah, speaking of the local culture, I guess something worth mentioning is that most people in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia in general, but especially here, pretty much everybody speaks really, really good English, most perfect. And so that makes it also a very international city, very easy to get along. In Dubai, obviously, once again, the local population is fairly small, so it's most people coming from all over the world. In that sense, it's kind of like an interesting, let's say, city of the future, in the sense that people from all over the world coming together, mostly coming to Dubai to do business. And yeah, makes it interesting. And in terms of, let's say, accessibility, so being able to travel to the country, on the one side, tourist visa for most people from all over the world, very easy to get in. Dubai's immigration always have been very, very respectful. Every time I arrive there, I don't know, like sometimes they give you like a free SIM card, always very quick, very chill. One of the best airports in the world, definitely Dubai Airport. Kuala Lumpur, similar, they offer you, I think, to most nationalities, either 30 days or 90 days every half a year, so visa on arrival. On the other hand, obviously Dubai, I mentioned it in the video before, they liberalized their, let's say, rules when it comes to moving their company formation, things like that. So almost people from all over the world can go there, open a company in one of the free zones, get a permanent residence. I think to maintain it you have to just enter the country every 6 months. On the other hand, if you just want to visit, again, visa on arrival for almost everybody, no questions asked. Malaysia also definitely has some problems. From what I hear, it's not as easy. There's the Labuan Island where some people can form a company. On the other hand, they're also introducing some type of digital nomad visas. All of that is interesting. The future will show how it will play out, but it's also interesting to see that, let's say, Kuala Lumpur is kind of like developing itself in that direction. But yeah, my guys, that has been a little bit some impressions of the two cities from my side, some thoughts. Maybe one day I'll put together a little bit more of an in-depth comparison of the two. Just wanted to share some thoughts because I've been walking around here. I've stayed right now for 1 month. I did a previous video about it, and I've just been all the time thinking how I see some certain similarities, be it in the infrastructure, be it in the condo buildings, be it in the fact that there's really people from all over the world, like a really interesting mixture. On the other hand, value again in Kuala Lumpur is just beyond anything. Like, it's better than in, like, it's one of the best values in the world, definitely, for what you can get when it comes to service, being client or, like, let's say, customer oriented. Definitely Dubai has obviously the upper hand, but for that you definitely have to pay in terms of different districts, in terms of exploring. Dubai, most people know it as a very, let's say, flashy, super, like, let's say, surface level travel, which I think it doesn't have to be. If you want to have a little bit of flavor and culture, just go up into the upper parts, can be really interesting. Kuala Lumpur, really full, very rich of flavor, culture, food, while still offering a lot of convenience and comfort. So it's kind of like a really nice mix in that sense. Again, similarity of, depending on which district you go to, you can really do some time traveling. To be fair, you go from Dubai downtown to Deira, boom, you're time traveling. You go from let's say KLCC to like Chinatown and beyond there, you're in a different world. And alrighty guys, and so I hope you enjoyed today's little insight. Just wanted to share with you some stories, some impressions, reflect a little bit on two very interesting cities, both to visit as well as potentially make it as a base. And what I mean by that, in case if you are new here on the channel, well, I've been documenting my life here under the premise of building a life of freedom around the world. And so yes, it's travel, yes, it's an adventure, but even more so, everybody that watches me probably, you know, already hears it in the ear playing. It's a lot about freedom, and it's a lot about opportunity. And I believe once you start leveraging a little bit the world and going to places that just offer more, be it better value, be it more freedom, be it different seasons, be it so, I think definitely both cities are very interesting when it comes for short term to visit. If you're into, let's say, really the modern, the tallest, the biggest, give it a hit for Dubai. But I would say both cities very interesting, a little bit more into culture, a little bit more into food. I would say Kuala Lumpur has the upper hand. If you're just traveling right now, if you're just exploring different cities, I would say stay a week, maybe 2 weeks in Dubai will be plenty. But if you're looking for a little bit of a base for a stopover, let's say don't get lost in Kuala Lumpur in the sense of staying in the wrong neighborhood, maybe not picking the best building to stay. And many people I meet, they're like, hey, I don't really know what Kuala Lumpur is all about. I didn't like it that much. Whereas then some other people I meet, they're like, wow, the value is crazy. I absolutely love it. I keep coming back here. And that is just such a common occurrence that I think there's a reason behind it. So hope you enjoyed today's little insight. I am strolling here Sunday afternoon. Seriously, it's rarely so crazy busy the vibe is right. It's my last day right now in Malaysia, so really wanted to put together a little bit this perhaps comparison, let's say reflecting on the two countries. And yeah, if you're new here by any chance, we're talking about building a life of freedom around the world. You can also join me on Instagram to see where I am right now. Tomorrow we're heading off to Sri Lanka. My first time. I'm curious, I'm interested, I think it will be good. We're gonna see each other over there.